Today, we're going to dive into this fantastic little fable about how one crocodile's simple desire for a new pair of shoes somehow blows up into a total economic meltdown for his entire country. It's a wild story about good intentions, really bad ideas, and one very, very clever crocodile named Croc.
Look, we all know high prices are a huge pain, right? But what if the cure you come up with is actually way, way worse than the disease itself? Well, let's meet the crocodile who decided to test that theory out the hard way.
All right, so here's where it all begins. It's a problem I'm sure we've all felt. You want to buy something, you save up, and then you find out the price just went up. For our guy Kronk, this little annoyance is about to become a full-blown national obsession.
And here he is. Meet Croc. That look of frustration on his face? Yeah, that's the spark that's about to light a fire that will basically turn his entire town of Sadabad completely upside down. He has no idea what he's about to unleash.
You see, Croc had been saving up all week long. The local currency is shells, and he'd been dreaming about these awesome new sports shoes. He finally gets exactly 100 shells, the perfect amount. He's so ready.
So he walks into that store, super proud, shells in hand, ready to finally get his shoes, only to get totally blindsided. The price went up by just 2 shells. A tiny little bit of inflation has just shattered his dream. It's heartbreaking.
Croc is just livid. This isn't just a minor setback for him. No, this feels like a personal attack on his entire life. And as a very proud graduate of the Sadabad Open University, he decides right then and there he's not just going to complain about it. Oh no, he's going to be the one to fix inflation for everyone. So let's see where this newfound academic confidence takes him. He storms home, determined to find a scientific solution, and starts digging through all his old university textbooks. He's on a mission. And there it is. After flipping through some dusty old pages, he finds a chapter that seems like a sign from above. The title just jumps right out at him, promising him a powerful weapon against the very evil that denied him his shoes. Okay, now this is the crucial part. It's what Croc doesn't read. He sees that first line, a period when prices fall, and he's like, Eureka, I found it. He totally, completely ignores the, minor details that follow about things like widespread unemployment and total economic collapse. And with this, let's call it a half-baked idea. He cooks up this grand 3-step plan. He's going to start a central bank, use some fancy term he found called contractionary policy to collect all the money in town, and boom, end inflation forever. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? So he calls a town meeting, he gets up there and just dazzles everyone with big confusing words like excess liquidity. He even name drops a famous economist, a Professor Turtle. He promises them all more purchasing power. And for the final touch, he hands out official certificates with his very official seal, a bottle cap. And you know what? It works. They just hand over all their life savings. So now, with every single shell in the entire town locked up in his vault, Croc's plan to bring down prices actually works. You could say it works a little too well. He wanted lower prices, and boy, was he about to get them. Croc marches back to the shoe store, expecting a hero's welcome. Instead, he finds the poor shopkeeper in tears. The shoes? They're down to 80 shells. But the shopkeeper is begging him to buy them because no one has any money. And Croc, still not getting it, just thinks, if they're 80 today, maybe they'll be 60 tomorrow. I'll wait. And this just paints the perfect picture of what happened. In just 1 week, the whole town went from being a lively, bustling place to an absolute economic wasteland. Shops are closed, everyone's miserable, there's literally a tumbleweed of dry seaweed rolling down the main street. And right then, the light bulb finally goes on. Croc gets it. He made everything cheap, sure, but he also made it impossible for anyone to buy anything. He basically cured the sniffles by putting the patient into a coma. But just as he's having this massive realization, a brand new problem walks up. It's a lawyer named Mike, and he's carrying a stack of papers taller than Croc himself. Turns out, the entire town is suing him for, destroying the entire economy. So now Croc is well and truly trapped. He's got an angry mob on one side, and on the other, a vault full of money that can't even cover the damages he owes. It really looks like this is the end of the line for him.
But this is where Kroc proves he's a special kind of genius. He stands up in front of the angry crowd, puts on his most serious face, and just invents a new economic term right there on the spot. He can't just give them their money back. Why, that would be irresponsible inflationary money spraying.
And then he rolls out his master plan, a so-called economic support package. He's not going to give them their money back, no, but he will graciously offer to loan them their own money back, with a little bit of interest, of course, all to help them get back on their feet.
And the craziest part? The crocodiles, who are totally broke and desperate, they cheer for him. They call him a hero. The economy starts to move again. The lawsuit gets dropped. And Kroc is the man of the hour. But let's just take a look at the final numbers, shall we?
So what's the final score? Well, Kroc faces 0 legal consequences for his actions. But now, every single citizen in Sadaqabad owes money to his bank. He didn't just get away with it, he actually came out on top, profiting from the very disaster he created.
And that right there is the ultimate irony of the whole story. The crocodile who single-handedly crashed the entire economy through his own ignorance and ego ends up being celebrated as the genius who saved it.
Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. Kroc created a problem, solved it, and ended up with all the power. So what does this little story really tell us about that tricky relationship between debt, control, and power in any economy, whether it's run by crocodiles or by us?